This is the SMOROBOT Tank C1 cordless pool cleaning robot. It's got that sturdy, tank-like build with a wide handle on top, a slanted front panel, and honestly, it's heavier than I expected, about 27 pounds, which gives me the sense it's not some flimsy gadget. The design looks modern, almost like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it feels practical to grab and move around. I've had this in front of me for a few days now and wanted to share my experience with anyone looking to make pool maintenance less of a headache. This was a purchase I spent months considering. For me, pool cleaning is one of those chores that always gets bumped down the list because it's messy, takes time, and honestly, I'd rather be doing anything else. After my last storm, my pool was, to put it plainly, a total mess. Tons of leaves, sand from living near the beach, and a surprising amount of dirt settled at the bottom. That's why I finally went for the SMOROBOT Tank C1, and I thought it would be helpful to give a quick review that's straight to the point, especially if you, like me, have been on the fence about automating this whole pool cleaning thing. Key features that stuck out to me right away. The Tank C1 is completely cordless. This means there are no cables to trip over or unravel, which is a relief. It runs on a pretty strong lithium-ion battery. When fully charged, it gives you around 2 to 3 hours of operation. According to the specs, it's supposed to clean up to 2,500 square feet in one go, which should be enough for most backyard pools. It took about 2.5 hours to charge up before its first use, which is reasonable considering how much ground it can cover. Turning it on is as simple as holding down the power button until the bright lights on the display start blinking. That display is one of the details I actually love. It stays visible even underwater, which is both cool and practical when you want to check on its status. Once those yellow lights start flashing, you just drop it into the pool, and it gets to work. Now, I was a little skeptical about letting a robot do something I usually spend hours on, but from my experience so far, I'm pretty impressed. The Tank C1 doesn't just roll randomly either. It uses smart navigation with built-in sensors and what they call AI path planning. So at first, it does kind of feel its way around, sometimes moving in circles or zigzags as it figures out the shape of your pool, and then it starts cleaning in straight lines. I noticed in the first 10 minutes it was testing the boundaries, then it switched to a much more organized route, almost like mowing the lawn but underwater. Another thing I like about it, and this is huge for people who live in sandy or leafy areas, is its suction power. The company says it's at 3,300 gallons per hour, which sounded overkill until I saw how much junk it pulled up in one cycle. The brush on the front is pretty aggressive. It really scrubs at the grime, even at the waterline, and it has these grippy tank tracks that help it climb walls, which means your pool doesn't just look clean at the bottom, but along the sides too. If you're someone who has trouble with manual vacuums not reaching awkward corners, this is kind of a game changer because it tackles the bottom, slopes, walls, and even a little above the waterline. When it comes to settings, this thing keeps it simple but flexible. You get a standard mode that tells the robot to do a full clean, including walls and floor. Or you can set it to clean just the floor if that's what you need. My favorite addition is the weekly timer mode. You set it up, and it'll run every 48 hours for 45 minutes at a time, which helps keep the pool consistently clean without you needing to remember to turn it on. It's perfect for busy people or anyone planning a short trip who wants to come back to a pool that's actually swim-ready. Filtration is another area where the Tank C1 makes sense. It comes with a dual-layer filter basket that holds up to 4 liters of debris, which includes everything from sand and fine grit to leaves and hair. The first time I ran it after that storm, the filter was totally packed with all these bits I usually spend forever trying to scoop up. The filter unit pops out of the back easily, with a hatch that feels secure, and cleaning it has become part of my regular pool routine. At first, I struggled a little to open the basket, especially with wet hands. It latches in tight, maybe a bit too tight, but it's gotten easier the more I get used to it. I'd still rather deal with that than have debris slipping out into the pool again. I know people sometimes ask if these robots are loud, but honestly, the Tank C1 is super quiet. You can run it while hanging out by the pool and it doesn't interrupt. Also, because it's cordless, there's no risk of someone tripping or a cord getting tangled around a ladder or pool float. There are, of course, some small concerns. From my experience, the Tank C1 handles walls well most of the time, but there were a couple of corners where it seemed to take a while to escape, like it got a bit confused. Over several cycles, though, it got better at finding its way. It sometimes pauses for a bit after cleaning an area, possibly to adjust its navigation, which can look like it's idling. This isn't a deal breaker, but it does draw out the cleaning time just a bit, especially if the pool is very dirty. Another thing some folks may miss is app control. At this time, there's no Bluetooth or smartphone connectivity, so you have to use the onboard controls. For me, this isn't a huge issue. It's actually kind of relaxing not to look at my phone for a few minutes, but I could see how some people might want more digital controls. According to the manufacturer, app connectivity is being developed, so that may arrive later as an update. I'd recommend this for anyone who wants to save time and effort and is tired of manually vacuuming the pool, especially if your pool collects lots of debris like mine. If you're new to robotic pool cleaners, this is a solid way to get started without too much technical fuss. It really is plug and play. Take it out of the box, charge it, put it in the pool, and let it handle things. Maintenance hasn't been stressful at all. Besides rinsing the filter basket, there's not much you have to do. The robot has a nice waterproof charging port with a rubber cap, so you don't have to worry about water damage. The manual says regular filter cleaning keeps it running smoothly, and based on a week of heavy use, I agree that it makes a difference. If you ever need service, there's a 2-year warranty, which adds a little extra peace of mind. I was initially worried about whether a robotic pool cleaner would really pick up all the sand and fine dirt that settles in my Florida pool, but from my experience, this one absolutely does. After every run, the water looks clearer and the bottom feels clean to the touch. I also noticed there's less algae buildup since it scrubs the sides each time. In my opinion, the SMOROBOT Tank C1 cordless pool cleaning robot delivers exactly what I hoped for: less hassle and more free time. It's perfect for anyone who wants to keep their pool looking good without putting in hours of manual labor. If you have a pool and you're tired of endless scrubbing and vacuuming, I would suggest giving this a shot. In conclusion, this robot has already helped make my pool much easier to maintain, and I honestly look forward to seeing how it holds up over time, especially through more storms or heavy use. I will post full information about the SMOROBOT Tank C1 cordless pool cleaning robot in the comments section. See you in the following videos.